Well, that was a straight up miss. Van Helsing, released in 2004, 20 years ago actually. I'm just realizing that. Wow, the 20th anniversary of when this movie came out. I'm sure many people just straight up forgot about this thing, and for good reason. And this film is directed by Stephen Sommers, who's also directed such films like Catch Me If You Can, The Adventures of Huck Finn, The Jungle Book, The Mummy, and The Mummy Returns. Yes, the director of the CGI rock scorpion monster directed this movie. That should give you an idea of where we're going with the quality of this film. And this film is starring Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, Richard Roxburgh, David Wenham, Will Kemp, Kevin J. O'Connor, and Schuler Hensley. Van Helsing is a monster slayer who is sent out into the world to slay a whole bunch of monsters by the Vatican. And this time, Van Helsing has been sent to Transylvania because there are reports of vampires flying around in the area. And while there, Van Helsing befriends the town pretty woman, who of course is connected to the whole thing with the vampires and the werewolves, and also Frankenstein's monsters in here. And yeah, now Van Helsing must find why all of these monsters are connected and kill them all before world-ending stuff. I remember seeing so many previews and so many trailers for this. It was playing on TV constantly back when you had cable. You know, you didn't have streaming services that had all these forced ads on you with all this other shit. Now, back in my day, on the cable channels, when you had the movie channels, you would have trailers and previews for the same movie at every commercial break. So I saw the previews for Van Helsing, like, crazy. And I remember wanting to see this. It was 2004, so it's right around that time where I just started getting into going to the movies on a regular basis. But I never got around to watching this one, because I actually heard some pretty terrible things from some friends who went to see it, so I never watched. And I feel like I've seen parts of this movie here and there, whether it's on FX or just some random TV channel, but I've never watched it all the way through. And now that I have, I wish I hadn't. It's not the absolute worst movie that I've ever seen, and I do admire the attempt of trying to take the classic Universal monsters and combine them all. We need Frankenstein's monster because he's the secret of life, and take that secret and give it to my vampiric minions. And then werewolves are in here because they're the only thing that can kill a vampire, apparently. But you also get the strength and the smell and all of the powers of being a werewolf while not it being a full moon. So there are times when Van Helsing, Hugh Jackman, is just Hugh Jackman, and he's lifting his comrades up and he's jumping from place to place. He gets the strength. I'm like, what? What's the point of this whole werewolf curse? If you turn into a werewolf, like the physical, like, werewolf beast when the moon is out, but you also get all the powers and the abilities when you're in everyday life. Okay, that doesn't make sense. There's just a whole lot of story that is being crammed in here because I feel like the script and this director and the studio probably just wants action, action, action the entire time. This film has no time to breathe, to take personal scenes with themselves so that we can get emotionally connected to these characters. There are seconds that we may get, but definitely not for us to feel like, oh yeah, I'm connected to this Van Helsing character. I feel alone. I feel abandoned sometimes. I can connect with that guy. No, he's just a beautiful human being with a kick-ass coat, some awesome hair, and this wonderful hat that he wears, and he just goes around shooting his crossbow. I can't connect to that guy. He's the universal monster good guy version of James Bond in this movie, basically. James Bond goes to MI6, he gets the mission report, he goes down to the warehouse where Q is, and Q gives him all of the gadgets for everything that he needs for this one little mission, and then he goes out to some exotic place to hunt down the bad guy and kill them. Same thing happens here. The Vatican guy gives him the brief, oh, there's vampires in Transylvania, here's all the crosses, holy water, and garlic for you. Now go and be a James Bond superhero, please. This is right when Hugh Jackman was just becoming a huge star in the Hollywood scene, in the movie scene. He was already a well-established theater actor and dancer and musical theater guy, but with X-Men coming out a couple of years before this, this is when everyone's like, hey, this Hugh Jackman guy, he's pretty cool and he's actually very talented. Let's put him in things. And of course, he just wants to be a part of it, so he signs on for stuff and not really thinking about the quality of the stuff that he's signing up for. Thankfully, though, Hugh Jackman was able to bounce back. He's going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine later this year, so he's doing just fine. Not many actors can recover from being in a movie like this. That's for fucking sure. Kate Beckinsale, I can't even recall if she made anything after this movie coming out. Maybe she did Click, I think, right? And then nothing else from what I remember. But yeah, she's here, and she's the most beautiful one in the town, so of course all of the vampires coming after her. And Richard Roxburgh. Holy shit. One of my favorite villains of all time, and his performance of Dracula. So goddamn over the top. Like, he puts Nicolas Cage to shame in this movie. That is how over the top and overacting he is in this movie. And I don't 100% blame him. He's just taking this god-awful dialogue that he's provided and he's trying to make it fun and entertaining, so I admire that. But when your character just openly gives exposition to just random people, hell, not even people in the room, he's just talking out loud about his evil plan. Maybe this film was made in like the 50s or 60s when we hadn't had a lot of films to compare things by. Maybe this would have done well, but it's just not good. And it's not good to the point where it is entertaining. I can definitely see why someone would enjoy this movie because it's so bad. Is it the 5 out of 5 mammograms worthy for me? I don't think so, because I don't have the urge to go back and watch this thing on a regular basis. But it is so damn awful that it is an entertaining watch when you feel like watching it, or when it's just randomly on playing in the background. You could have a good time, but I can't see anyone seeking this film out for sure. I'm gonna give Van Helsing 1.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
So guys, if you've seen Van Helsing, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll know the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.